All right, folks, it's the Jeff Thitoff Show. I'm Tito. This time, I swear, the man's on my left. It looked weird last time, so I said it, and he was on my right. But trust me, he's on my left. It's a big technological thing that I failed at. Jimmie Bell here with me today, as he always is. And follow us on Fantasy Sports. Download the app. It's free for Apple and Android users. Make sure you go check that out. Get all of our round-the-clock programming. Get more Jimmy. How about that? And then fantasysports.com is a website. And then also we've got the Fantasy Sports Facebook page. Check that out as well. Big show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about Ohio State, Minnesota coming up this weekend. High school football with Brian Baker here shortly, and then we'll kind of do a mishmash of things in the final segment about the MLB playoffs, what's going on in the NBA, the Browns making a switch at quarterback, all those kinds of things. Yeah. We will do that. How are you, Jimmy?
Man, I'm always good, baby. I make it that way.
There you go.
All day, every day.
Where can people find you on Twitter?
Hey, man, Twitter is actually the know-it-alls.
Okay.
So you guys go to Twitter or X or whatever the heck it is.
Right.
It's the know-it-alls. All of my other platforms, one way or the other, if you type in Jimmie, not the Y guy, I don't know him, my mug will pop up in one of those windows.
So Ohio State's got Minnesota this weekend, a 7:30 kick. It's homecoming weekend. And to get this out of the way first, were you on the homecoming court in high school? The king.
Yeah, in high school, yeah.
That's
but I was a jerk, bro. Like I was an AZZ, bro, back in the. You know what I'm saying?
What's an AZZ?
That's the polite way of saying ass.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Big Mike, what's up? But yeah, so I was
right.
But and I was like, don't get me wrong, I was the likable dude. I wasn't like the complete, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I didn't win it. I think Adam Veazey won it, my linebacker.
Okay.
Ended up winning the whole thing. I forgot who the queen was.
Yeah.
I'm happy I wasn't her.
That's funny. The so homecoming this weekend, like I say, night game for Ohio State. Ohio State fans love night games. They wish it was better opponents. But I heard something this weekend this week that Ryan Day said. And he was talking about how Minnesota is traditionally like they're strong in the trenches kind of thing, run defense and all that. And I heard him say it. I'm not going to disagree with that necessarily, but I've never thought of Minnesota though as having an identity. Like, Wisconsin's got an identity. Iowa's got an identity as far as the way they do things. With Minnesota, I've always felt like it could change year to year just based on the personnel. Yeah. Like, I don't think of them as a perennial in the trenches, tough kind of team. Am I wrong on that?
Now, listen, bro. Listen. How dare you, Mr. Thitoff?
What's that?
How dare you jump into Minnesota and not acknowledge my greatness,
which was
my honesty,
okay, my
A1 plus analysis. I didn't get a lot of A pluses in school, so don't deny me when I told you what would happen against Washington. Bro.
You did. I told
everybody who they were.
Yes, you did.
And that's exactly who they were. So I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. I just want to take my own flowers because you feel unmanly giving me mine, right? He wants to feel feminine and not give Jimmy his flowers. So I take my own.
You picked your own flowers. Okay. Good for you.
Now, this is the deal. Mr. PJ Fleck, he's an identity in himself.
Okay.
That's the difference. I think throughout the other years, even when the Ohio State guy was the coach, I wouldn't say defensively they had an identity, but offensively they had a little bit of an identity because he ran. I forgot my man. He wanted the job before Truss got it.
Oh yes.
What's my man? He was the coach. But anyway, he's actually an Ohio guy.
Holtz was there, and then Glenn Mason.
That's what I'm talking about. Big Glizzity Glenn.
Yeah,
he's actually an Ohio guy.
Yep.
But he always had an athletic quarterback. They did some type of
Ricky
spread
Foggy,
or read offset, bro. They had some people. Yeah. They had some good athletes and stuff. They just didn't have it all. But what PJ Fleck did, he came in there and gave them the foundation, really an accurate foundation of identity. And that comes from, I think, Coach PJ Fleck,
yeah.
His tutelage in being raised under Coach Trussell.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of that consistency, how they recruit, the message being linear, that comes from that Coach Truss line. Minnesota has not always been that way, But I think recently that's where you get a lot of that stuff from.
So it also feels weird to me with Ohio State because conference games, when it was a smaller conference, you got to see a lot of teams every single year.
Yeah.
But now, because the way it's changed around, sometimes you might not see a team for a couple years. There's a lot of turnover in there. There's a lot of people that change in and out of the program, which makes it hard to kind of maintain that identity, I think.
Right.
So, like, the conference games, to me, they don't feel the way they used to.
Yeah. It was definitely with the intimacy.
Yeah.
At the minimum is different. And we have to acknowledge that. But you know what? The intimacy changed when we split conferences. Mm-hmm. And we knew that we weren't going to play everyone back in that space because really you couldn't, right?
Right.
But even still, so it's just gotten elongated and more broad. But the intimacy of the Big Ten, I think it's kind of been that way for quite some time. Now, if you follow the Big Ten in each team, like I try to, so that's how I stay intimate. I don't need Ohio State to play them to understand the validity and the direction of what the teams are trying to do, and in my opinion, what they should do and what other people should do. So that's how, in my opinion, I can understand where Minnesota's trying to go, the thought of where Minnesota was, and even though we haven't played them in quite some time.
I popped Ryan Baker onto here now to get some of his takes. I know he's talked a lot of Ohio State football already this week. Baker, the Ohio State offense, do you expect them to open things up more on Saturday than they did maybe against Washington and against Texas?
I think you might see them a little bit. I mean, you saw them open it up a little bit against Grambling and a little bit of Ohio. I think it's one of those things, though, right now with the Buckeyes. Why take the risk if you don't have to? And maybe the risk isn't there as much with a Minnesota. So you might see them do some things. But Ohio State right now, it's just win the game. They don't need to worry about style points. They are playing the long game, too. We heard Ryan Day and his staff last year talk a lot about hopefully a 16-game season. They want the kind of same thing this year. So there's no sense in taking unnecessary risks. There's no sense in leaving guys out there for a long time like the running back situation. Why give a guy 20 carries? Let's keep them all fresh, spread them out throughout. And this is a game where, I mean, let's be honest, the spread came out at 23.5. I believe it's at 24.5 now. Ohio State could probably name their score in this if they wanted to. I just think for Ohio State and Ryan Day right now, it's why do things if you don't have to.
Jimmy, flipping things over to the defensive side of the ball, Ohio State's given up 22 points in 4 games. And I would imagine, I mean, let's be fair, you played on some pretty good defensive teams.
Absolutely. The Silver Bullets, that's where we were raised.
Okay. I'm so glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask you this question. I've asked Carp this question. I don't know if I asked AJ or Schleggs the question.
Too young.
Okay. No, listen, though. But the Silver Bullets thing, is every Ohio State defense the Silver Bullets, or do you have to somehow earn that nickname?
It's the expectation.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Just like we're running back right? The expectation is that Ohio State always has a dope running back. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't always been the case. The majority of the time it has. But they're always going to compare the running back. Well, when Coop in the 90s, I think it was Coach Puggage or Coop, one of the two, coined the Silver Bullets, that became just the mantra of the understanding that, we were just some dog MFers, and coming up into the stadium, you had to deal with us. And that was the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Our defense, minus Tim Biaka-Batuka and Ty Streaks on one pass against Sean Springs. Sorry,
Spring.
Sean.
Don't do this, man. Don't do this. We can't do that.
You know what I'm saying? And I got some other examples too. But it's the expectation. We've always been a defensive silver bullet laden team. And then Herb came in and we flipped it again to the offensive side. But the Silver Bullets has always been the expectations through the 90s and the early to mid 2000s.
See, Baker, we get the player's perspective. Now, you and I in the fans' perspective thing. Like, I always thought that you had to get, the New York Yankees, your hat right there. It's not your best hat, but it's one of your hats, Yankees hats. It's not the one that does well publicly. But anyway, the Yankees, every team regardless, is called the Bronx Bombers. That's like their nickname, right? They're called the Bronx Bombers. I always under the impression, as a fan, that the defense had to be at a certain thing to be like called this, like they had to earn it, like a black stripe kind of thing.
I kind of feel the same way. And I'll tell you what, there's been a few years here recently where maybe to the fans, they haven't lived up to that moniker.
Yeah.
They are this year.
Oh, good Lord.
I have no clue how any team in the country can throw the football on this defense with that back seven. And now you mix in the way this defensive line is playing. You saw kind of a coming out party for both Caden Curry and Caden McDonald last week. I thought Kenyatta Jackson, there were a couple plays where he was so disciplined and stayed where he was supposed to. Maybe he could have went and made a play. Maybe he could have went and tackled the quarterback. But what if he got beat? So he was just so disciplined and coached so well to stay. I was very impressed with Kenyatta Jackson, even though his numbers may not have been that of those other two. I don't know how anybody moves the ball on this team.
Yeah, we're put it like this. This is how deep that is, and I'm happy both of you guys are wrong. First with the silver bullet thing. That's why I'm here to set you straight. But nonetheless, we are a better defense already this year than we were last year. Last year had better personnel as individuals,
right?
But this year, we're way better defense out the door. Because
you think personnel is better last year than this year?
Oh my God, absolutely.
Wow.
Come on, brother. Right now, you have guys that are making their name.
Right. We
came in with guys that should already left to the league, bro. That's kind of in that same space. And I said this before about Clemson. He asked me about the Clemson, and I said you have to understand when Dowbell had that class. It was a defensive leadership class, but they stayed another year.
Right.
Let's be honest about that class. Bro, they had 6 or 7 dudes that would have been literally first to second round dudes on that team. Yeah. That's what we had. They may not have performed on a string the way that this defense, these dudes are on a string. Yeah. They're so in tune that they're and really it's the simplicity of what Matt Patricia. People ask like, oh man, Matt Patricia is genius. Well, his genius is that he's making it simple for the homies to do what they're asked to do at a very high and fast level. But oh my gosh, bro, come on, bro. And last year, sure, absolutely. You never find teams like that because guys don't stay. We have 4 dudes on the defensive line that are probably starting in the league right now. It's not happening. Sonny Styles was on there on that team last year, right? Yeah. Caleb Downs was on that team last year, right? So I just named you, let me see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 11 dudes that are in the league playing right now on that team. We don't know if we got that yet. They're still trying to make their mark. They're still trying to figure this thing out.
Which is why they're the homies, not silver bullets yet. You heard them call them homies. They're the homies, Ryan Baker. If they figure it out, you call them homies. Listen, they're homies. I'm telling you, there'll be silver bullets after a couple more games that keep this up. What do you want to say there, Bakes?
No disrespect to those guys last year, right? But like to me, this defense, and you're right, they're not there yet. Like those were proven college football players on this defense last year. But like to me, if I'm playing linebacker, every position last year, it was Sonny and Cody. Yeah. This year it's Sonny and Arvell. I'm taking that all day. I was as big a fan of Denzel Burke as anyone. Give me Jermaine Matthews and Devin Sanchez. Like those guys are going to be better than those. And maybe they're not.
You just said it. To be. What did I say?
You did say not there yet.
This defense,
like right now, you said
better. Yeah. The defense is better,
but the individuals.
That defense last year were loaded. To me, listen, bro. I don't think you're good or bad based upon your personnel. That's not how I operate. Right. You got to show it on the field, bro. I'm a play to do game. How you play is how I'm gonna evaluate you. I don't care how long you've been here. I don't care your numbers. I don't care of any of that stuff. Last year, we almost didn't know how good they were at a point. You see what I'm saying? Sure. We thought they were underachieving based upon the names last year. This year, from the first game, they have gotten nothing but better. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You talk about identity. Right. We knew what our identity was. Like for 2 years, well, more than 2 years, we were trying to figure out what he was. He was a coaching homie. bro, what are you trying to accomplish? We don't know what you want these cats to do. At least let me know what to expect,
right?
So I can stop bitching. You see what as a fan?
When I look at it, and I don't want to be prisoner of the moment on this because I know that Penn State just gave a bunch of points to Oregon, but it wasn't Jim Knowles' fault necessarily they lost the game. Nonetheless, I feel like 4 games in, I can confidently say that Ohio State upgraded a defensive coordinator. Do you guys feel the same way?
This year?
This year, they have a better defensive coordinator this year than they had last year.
What do you consider better? And RB jump in, but what do you consider better?
I think that they are playing a much more. It's a simple, but it's also a complicated defense. As far as it's very deceptive. I think it's more deceptive.
I knew you were going to say that. No, they are deceiving, but that's not complicated. Matt, if you sit down and watch the film,
right,
you're like, you'll be able to figure out what they're doing. I'm telling you, the beauty of Matt Patricia even being here is that I don't think he doesn't have to be the guy.
Right.
He's coming into a fold and they're all making this thing happen. Where Coach Knowles was almost like Caesar, my way or the highway.
This guy goes this many steps. Yes.
Yeah. And he brought this have to be complicated thing because he was used to playing with homies.
His way, yeah.
And guys that weren't as good.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Coming from the Big 12, you had one guy maybe, and I need to figure out how to put these other dudes and mix these things up. Man, Matt is making this thing I'm telling you, when you sit there and watch this film, he's making this thing so simple that these guys are making plays. It's crazy, bro.
What do you think, Bake?
I think Jim Knowles, definitely the argument could be made that he is the best defensive coordinator in college football. Last year, you could make that argument for sure. Mm-hmm. I just think Matt Patricia is playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. Like, he's got an NFL scheme, and maybe it's that just as easy as Jimmy said. Maybe he's simplifying things and just letting these guys go play.
Right.
But I also think, I don't know, and Jimmy, you could speak to this more than me. I don't know if he could run this defense the way he wants to without a Caleb Downs, a guy that out there that just understands it and looks at the game the same way he does and knows how to get everybody in the right position when they're moving people around and all of that. I think I think this isn't fair to compare the two because Ohio State isn't playing college football defense, I feel like. They're playing an NFL-style defense, and they've got an NFL all-pro caliber safety in the future in Caleb Downs directing things.
Yeah, so Caleb, and I like to be very honest sometimes because we throw stuff around, but I want to be. So the advantage of Caleb is that he gives the maybe uncertain dude certainty.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
It's not so much that he's so good that we couldn't do this without him. No, it's that he's so smart and he's so settled that he makes the other defensive backs confident enough to do your job, and that's it. Otherwise, everybody's out there else trying to get their thing off, right? They're trying to make everybody else's plays. That's what you get in a Caleb Downs. You get another confident coach on the field that's assuring everybody else. It's not just that he can play. It's the presence of him playing on the field. You could get somebody else to play that position. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can get another guy at the same comparable athletic ability to play that thing. But you're not going to get somebody necessarily to think and get people to follow him the way that he does. Now, that's a whole nother level.
They're not the same at all, but Deion used to affect games when he didn't when they didn't go to him like Deion could affect games without making plays. I think Caleb can affect the game just by being out there and not necessarily making plays.
Great contrast to what I'm saying, actually. Yeah. Deion, now this is different.
Right.
Deion is athletically making a difference.
Sure, right.
Ed Reed is doing what Caleb Downs does.
Yeah.
Ed Reed is making everybody else confident because we got Ed on the team.
Right.
And whatever Ed says to do, I'm doing, and I'm going to get the benefits of it. Now, you're totally right. prime. Jesus, bro.
I know.
Nobody, not too many people except for Lawrence Taylor on the defensive side affected a game, in that prolifically that.
So when I look at the NBA now is going into more of a positionless league. You got 5 guys out there that can play 4 or 5 of the positions, right?
Did you see the Houston Rockets roster?
It
was 6'9" with the point guard.
Right. It's all,
and he was the short dude.
But they got a bunch of guys that can run point. But not that you can never do that at in football. You can't ever have a positionless defense.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like Ohio State has a lot of guys that could pull off multiple positions in that defense.
Okay. Great. What do you think, Big Bro? What do you think? Big Bakes, I'm sorry.
I do think that's one of the beauties of this team is the versatility, right? You've got a Sonny Styles who played safety, is now at linebacker, and I don't think you'd hurt if you lined him up at a defensive edge type piece. You've got C.J. Hicks, who's at defensive end now, who played linebacker in the past. Arvell Reese is a guy that freshman year, they moved him to defensive end for a while, moved him back to linebacker. You've got so many guys that are so versatile and don't understand just their position, but other positions. Look at an Edric Houston, and he's struggled a little bit as a young guy, but played defensive end his whole life. Now he's on the inside at D tackle. The versatility is just, it's so tremendous with these guys. And that's one of the things where, like, athlete for athlete in potential, this is as good as an Ohio State defense as we've seen in a long time to me.
Yeah, and okay, so now let's go back to some of the questions we had earlier in conversation. You get Matt Patricia, who came from New England,
right?
And that was the New England motto.
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel got his resurgence because of his versatility. Day Thomas from Ole Miss, who was the biggest dude, the biggest, most athletic dude. If you ask anybody in our modern era, they'll say, hey, man, Day is the biggest, and he's a family friend, so I know what he looks like.
Right.
But he played in the middle, defensive end, and linebacker, intercepting balls in the whole 9 yards. But when you do that, you can keep it simple because generally, check it out, I don't need to bring in another defensive back to run nickel.
Right, yeah.
I don't need to bring in a certain type of individual to run dime. That's a tell.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying Matt is actually being super simple.
Right.
He's able to do the stuff with the same dudes on the field that can do different things. The same thing what I thought we would do a little bit this year, and we actually are on the offensive side. That tight end personnel, which New England brought back and made super famous. You had Aaron Crazy Boy or Hernandez running. Think about it. Before Gronk, Aaron was the guy from the tight end position.
Yeah.
And so you brought in 2 tight ends. They're looking in the huddle trying to figure out what they're going to call. Right. Because you got 2 giant tight ends. Yeah. And then you're running Aaron Hernandez. You're running Gronk down the middle of the field. And then you're running Aaron. Yeah. Through on a dig or a drag. Right. Against a big cankled Will linebacker. You see what I'm saying?
I do,
and they looked incredible. So that's what they're doing on the defensive side.
We're going to dive into high school football in just a minute, Jimmie, but I got to ask you this question.
Big Bakes.
Okay. Since you left Ohio State, you've obviously followed the team very closely. Is there a defensive coordinator that Ohio State's had since your time that you said, damn it, I wish I could have played for that guy because his scheme would have fit me so much better or better well, and I would have loved playing for that guy? Was there a DC that's come along?
Oh, bro, shoot. I can shoot. Tenuta and Pug changed my life. Okay. Because I shouldn't have been here. Not that I wasn't athletic enough to play. That wasn't my game. I look like a basketball player, bro. Okay. A long, lanky. I was quick, but I was a basketball player. Okay. We was running a 4-3 with the stouty guys on the inside, no zone blitzing, which means I was responsible for holding up 300-pound dudes at 240.
I want to make sure people know. He said running a 4-3 means a 4-3 defense. Jimmie was not running a 4-3. Okay, Jimmie didn't run a 4-3. Want to make sure everyone understands that.
On the video game, when I made myself.
Yes, I know you did.
I made myself in the video game.
I want to make sure I clarified that.
You see what I'm saying? So and that was with Coach Bill Young. Okay. When Tenuta and them came into, they ran the 4-3 the way you were supposed to one gap scheme.
Mhm.
Coach Haycock came in. I was able to use my leverage and my quickness to beat the guy in front of me, and I could make plays. So it was because of them that I was able to even show that I even had some game. Otherwise, it would have been tough for me to. I wasn't Luke Fickell, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bakes, let's transition to high school football now. And I wanted to ask you a question. You do this show on the Fan. What's the name of the show again? Get that all. You and Lee Cochran, what do you guys do?
High school football overtime every Friday night after our game of the week.
And that's on 97.1 The Fan in Columbus, and also go to the app and you can download it there wherever you can watch it out there. It's live. It's a great recap of it. Now, you've done these post-game shows. You've also called a fair share of games as well. What do you prefer, studio or being out there calling a game?
I mean, they're both great, but there is nothing to me like the rush of being at a game and calling a game live. Like, that's where we're all fans of sports, right? That's why we got into this. It's why we do what we do. And listen, we're fans of sports. We want to see it. We want to be there at games. We want to watch it. And listen, I love being in the studio with Lee. Yeah. I love our post-show meetings. He's become a great friend over the years. But there is nothing like calling a game live. I was super excited today. Looking ahead to the playoffs, got my email today from Spectrum about some of their games that they do, their expanded coverage in the playoffs. Incredible. And you just get that. Your heart starts beating a little faster. The blood starts pumping a little more. There's nothing like calling a game to me out there.
Was there somebody that you watched and said, you know what, that guy does a great job, or listen to that guy does a great job calling football games, and then like you picked up some tips from?
I mean, there's a bunch, right?
If you say me, bro, you better pay me, baby. Shit. Hey, bro. Hey, my Venmo is.
You can run, Bake. You can't run a 4.3. You can run. Go ahead.
I mean,
other than Jimmie Bell,
there's been so many over the time, but just growing up, like Keith Jackson was always one of my favorites. Like, I loved the way that Keith Jackson just told the story. Summerall and Madden. I mean, you couldn't beat that back in the day. You got them all the time on CBS, and then the Thanksgiving Day game and all of that. And, there's a little similarity in all the sports a little bit. Marty Brenneman is someone I grew up listening to from my youngest ages. And there's nothing like old school baseball play-by-play radio guys, because they're the best. They'll just be in the middle of, telling this story. Yesterday we were driving down the 405, all three outside, and this car cut us off. I mean, there's just no hesitation. There's a bunch of people I've listened to. And then I've gotten to work with some great here the past 15 years. I'll never forget the first time, and it was a basketball game. It wasn't football, but I'll never forget the first time I worked next to Paul Keels. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah. It's just how he does this is so simplistic. It's unreal. And some of the times we want to be so prepared and over prepared, and that's great, right? Yeah. That's awesome, especially when a game gets out of hand and it's 60-0. You've got to rely on all that prep work, but sometimes the game calls itself. You just got to get out of the way and let the game tell the story.
The first time I met Paul Keels in the studio at the Fan there, and he said, "Hey, Tito." Like, the first time I said my name, it was like, oh, that's such a cool moment. Was there somebody who you heard say your name, an announcer that you maybe watched the game afterwards or something, or somebody interview? Was there a person you like, I can't believe this guy just said my name?
Listen, bro, and he's still, rest in peace. He's in punishment with me. Brett Merceberger, bro. Check this out.
Wait, rest in peace?
Ain't he dead?
No, he's not dead. Don't kill Brett Merceberger.
I'm in his AZZ.
Okay.
Check it out. Our first, that's true goddamn story, bro. Yeah. We're in the Rose Bowl year up in Indiana. Right. You guys remember that game? Yeah. Where Indiana, it was either us or Indiana. Either Indiana played their best game, or we just tripping, bro. Right? We can't get shit together. And we finally took that thing, whatever. We opened it up a little bit. We go in, and again, I'm all insecure, coming off an injury, so I was the fighter. You know what I'm saying? I'm the little skinny fighter. And I get in the game, and I get into a fight with a guy. We're literally wrestling around an Indiana guy, and on the field, it's just crazy. And I watched it. My dad made me watch it.
Right.
He was like, "Jimmie Bell, hey bro, why are you fighting? The game is over."
That's outstanding.
Oh, bro, it's literally documented that he said my name. I said, "Man, I don't like you for having that, put me out there like that." I put myself out there.
Did the result last week? Bakes, Watterson rolled DeSales. Did it tell you more about Watterson or more about DeSales?
Oh, man.
Great question.
Listen, Watterson is just so darn good. And listen, that score got out of hand at the end. DeSales started turning the ball over. Now, Watterson had some turnovers themselves in the first half that may have kept the game a little closer than it should have been. DeSales is still a really good football team. DeSales is very good on the outside. They may have some struggles on the trenches right now, but athletically outside and with RJ at quarterback, they're pretty good. Watterson's just on a different level right now. The only team in Central Ohio that may be there with them maybe is Olentangy Orange, but especially now that Ursuline has had their problems and they've had to fold their football team this year.
Folded like
if Division III isn't a rematch for the third year in a row for a state title between Watterson and Toledo Central Catholic, like something happened wrong and they did the districts wrong for the semifinal games, because I don't think there's any doubt those two are the cream of the crop for the third straight year in Division III.
Yeah, the one thing I seen about Watterson, so I did Olentangy Liberty, who lost 33 players last time, right? And they played Kaufman, who's trying to figure out what they're going to do. But this was the difference. Liberty, and you can tell, had identity, had culture, and they had a program. They just didn't have the fellas like they had, but they still operated with heart and passion and drive and vigor what the mission was. Where you got a Kaufman that was trying to, bro, it almost seemed like they was playing Tecmo Bowl, bro. They was trying to figure this thing out. Well, that's what you have with a Watterson. Watterson has a program, right? It's almost like when someone leaves, insert mission, and you hope that you can have a longevity of a program that way, where if your quarterback leaves, the next young guy comes in and you're grooming him. One, he understands the expectation. You're just grooming him to be the best that he can within the expectation of his position, right? Most places don't have that type of culture. That's what Watterson has right now. And that's why they're going to be tough to beat. Not necessarily that they have pound for pound the better athletes than a lot of guys.
Right.
They do, I think, have, like you said, man, probably make one of the and I said I don't want to be disrespectful, but one of the strongest cultures and foundations of any team in Central Ohio. Orange, I have to watch them play. I don't know anything about their program. I know they're very athletic. They have a lot of athletes around. They're very confident. But when it comes down to who's going to do their job the longest, the best, without mistakes, I'm putting my money on Watterson.
And listen, it helps when you've got names like Belisari, Uhlenhake, those guys on the field. And then you've got those guys helping coach too, right? Greg and Steve are there helping out their sons. Jeff Uhlenhake's there with his son.
Rudzinski's playing for Watterson or not? Are they done? He had like 14 kids.
I think they've got another one coming.
Okay, another one coming,
Ryan though, is actually at Ohio State right now. He's a walk-on safety. And he obviously played at Watterson. And I believe Jerry has a couple younger ones coming. But when you have those names, right, and then you have those coaches around, that only helps. A few years ago, they had Bobby Hoyne's son, Jacob, there, and Bobby was around helping out.
Right, so Hoynes went in,
Yeah, when you have those guys around, it's easier to have that culture. And listen, Watterson's a program that's been doing this for a long time, right? Like the DeSaleses and the Hartleys, it's easy to they've been around for so long, they've been good for so long.
Have they?
That it's very easy to have.
Bake, have you donated money there?
Hey, listen.
What are you guys considering good, man? Y'all see, Bake, you ain't been on here with me, bro. Bake, I don't do these cliche stuff. You know?
No, they haven't. That's legit.
I let y'all do this cliche stuff with Washington and act like they had a chance to beat us. I shut all y'all down. Get out of here with that.
That's legit.
Y'all all needed the loony. They don't even have loony bins anymore, do they? But y'all needed to be in them. Watterson has been decent throughout the year.
Oh, I think they've been better than decent.
When did they ain't made the playoffs. See, you know, I'm sorry, Bake my back. I come from Youngstown, buddy.
I understand.
We play a different type of expectation of football. You know what I'm saying? Being decent is not good enough, especially not when you have those resources. You know what I'm saying? That's why I give them the props that they get now in their recent run.
Right.
Even before they won it, I give them their props. That's when I notice a foundational team. It's not just based upon the Belisari's. It's based upon whoever that doggone coach, I don't know his name, but he created something foundationally that allowed them to rise to where they're the team to be. When you're that,
yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Otherwise, bro, come on, Bake. Come on, bro. You tripping, bro.
Bake,
where did you graduate from, bro?
I went to Grove City.
And you know better. You know better.
Okay, I'm looking right here. By the way, to be fair, my wife and one of my best friends both graduated from Watterson. Okay, let's just say that right there. Okay,
God, that's why I can't breathe over
here. Okay, now listen. Water, okay, son. So in 14-2 in 2023, 12-2 in 2022. 2021 was a bad year. 5-6. 2020, the COVID year, they were 4-4.
Yeah, keep it going.
Okay, before that, 7-3, 5-5.
Yeah, whack. Hey, man, Hey, Bake, let's not run my mouth, right? For a living,
listen,
you know what I do? I know when to shut the heck up when I don't know what I'm talking about.
What would you say, Bakes? What'd you say?
They've had their struggles, right? But I mean, state championship 02, 2010.
Yeah, that was 2 years
last
ago.
year.
I see a couple of 2-8 games in here, 2-8 teams in the 10s.
Thitoff.
Yeah.
Am I right?
2010, 13-1, by the way.
I'm correct.
4-5. They went a combined 21-5.
Listen, bro, I know what I'm talking about,
okay.
bro.
All right.
Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Bake, stop playing with me.
Bake, what game you got this weekend? Or what game's your fan doing? I'm sorry.
Question,
Go ahead. Yeah, do that.
So this happens every now and again, and I love to hear it. We got a few City League teams that are freaking undefeated, but you just never know, right? You got Afrocentric, who already should have been good for years. When it comes to basketball and girls basketball, geez, they're on top of it. And I think Marion Franklin is still undefeated, if I'm not mistaken. What is the City League showing this year?
So you've got Afrocentric, obviously, who I do believe they have a loss. I think they lost to DeSales earlier. And they've played – Afrocentric has actually played a pretty tough schedule. I believe they lost to DeSales, and then they lost to maybe it was one of the Minster. Maybe they played and lost to. No, they actually beat Minster. That's right. So they did lose to DeSales in week 3, but they're 5-1. Afrocentric is a team that's been right there the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. They've got some quality athletes. Joshua Smith is going to go to Bowling Green.
That's Jose Smith. If you see Jose,
yeah,
you talk about a Florida giant,
yeah,
who used to chase rabbits in the field, and his wife is 6 foot. And that's probably their 13th kid.
Okay.
And they all are freak athletes. Yeah. Jeez, but keep going, Bates.
And Josh is what, like 6'4", 220 pounds?
Is he 6'4"?
I think so.
He's a wide receiver. Bro, is he a junior? What does it say right there?
I don't remember if he's a senior. I think he might be a senior because he'll be at Bowling Green next year, right. I believe.
He's one of these guys. This is why I don't believe in this rating. Would you agree? He could be a 5-star guy just like that, bro. That's how athletic this kid is. You know what I'm saying? Depending on who's calculating
right.
stars. I think he's a 4-star or something like that, right? But I don't think he went to all the camps.
And like I believe he's being recruited as an athlete, so there could be, is he going to be a tight end? Is he going to be a linebacker? There's all kinds of questions of what he might be. But Caleb Anthony's a kid for them. That's been defensive back, wide receiver. He's been a star since his freshman year. He's a kid that's a little slight, like 5'9", maybe 170 pounds, 175 pounds.
Oh, wow, he's real small.
The kid's a heck of an athlete. The biggest thing for Afrocentric is, can they get over the hump in the playoffs? When they get in the playoffs, what are they going to be able to do? The crazy story right now is Lyndon McKinley, excuse me. They had a huge win last week over Grandview. Both of them were undefeated. Lyndon McKinley's defense is just lights out, and they've got a sophomore quarterback that seems to be the real deal for them. Again, he's a little slight in stature, but he's a heck of an athlete, and he's doing tremendous things. We talked about Watterson right now in Division III, Region 11. Lyndon McKinley is second, right behind them. The most points they've given up all year is 18. They've given up 37 points so far in 6 games. So Lyndon McKinley, listen, you know, Jimmy, the one thing in football that usually travels is defense. That's why I haven't given up on Texas this year yet, because I was at the shoe, and that defense is fast, and that defense is real for Texas this year. So they may have struggles on offense, but defense travels in football. Lyndon McKinley may have something. They're probably going to run the table here and end the regular season undefeated.
And that's what I meant. I said Marion Franklin. I meant Lyndon McKinley, which is actually more impressive. And I hate to say what you're saying is so impressive for City League schools, but that's just the truth. Because I just don't know, and it's across the world, to be honest with you. When it comes, that's why I'm a Teddy Ginn, that's my spirit coach right there. Yeah. That guy, bro, I get goosebumps every time I talk about Teddy Ginn, OG, the triple OG Teddy Ginn, because it's, for some reason, it's the city teams always have athletes, but to get them to commit to a weight room program, to commit to a program and take it so seriously that it's their life, it doesn't always happen, but when they do, it translates to what you're talking about. Especially you're saying their defense is lights out. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I got to see that. I got to watch. I got to figure out how to
listen, we know Tito being a Brookhaven alum. Like, we're used to that, right? And you're used to Brookhaven back in the day. And then it kind of went from Brookhaven to Beechcroft. And then you had Walnut Ridge and Marion Franklin that were really good there for a while. Eastmore, you could always count on them. The last 10 years, though, have been a struggle for the City League for the most part. And it seems like there are a few, like Marquise Lee over at Walnut Ridge is a heck of an athlete playing quarterback for them. He's going to go play college ball somewhere. So it does seem like where the City League may not be back as a whole, there are some signs that maybe there's some life there again.
Yeah, they get some athletes. I'll give a little props to a training facility called, and this ain't a commercial, it's just the truth. His name is Derek Alexander. He's a Cambridge guy. He went to Columbus State, and he started off Hope Fitness in the mission to give
Derek's a Grove City guy, isn't he?
Is Derek a Grove City guy? Oh, I'm sorry. If you may be totally right. You probably are. But his mission was to get other underprivileged kids an opportunity, the same way that money kids do. And listen, he don't just produce athletes. Right. He produces attitude. Yeah. So he gets these kids to operate in ultimate leadership. And the beauty is they take that leadership back to their team. And he gets those fellas to straighten their tail up and is operating that. So Derek Alexander and Hope Fitness is a huge reason, in my opinion, where a lot of these city, you see a lot of these very committed athletes in the City League space is Derek Alexander. I know there's other places, so I ain't tripping, but DA's one of the best.
What Bakes, what game is the Fan covering this week?
So we've got Olentangy Liberty hosting Upper Arlington this week, and you mentioned Upper Arlington, the state championship last year. A lot of guys lost. They've seemed to settle in on their quarterback, though. Andrew Leonard was their quarterback last year, and he's off to Findlay, and I think he's already the starting quarterback at Findlay now. His brother, they had two guys that were battling for that quarterback spot. They've seemed to settle in. I think it was through injury, but they've seemed to settle in on his little brother, and they're playing a little better. They lost their first 3, but they've won 3 in a row. And Tito, Upper Arlington, they've been pretty good here this year. They're undefeated. Justin Buttermore's, I think he's the best coach in the state of Ohio, quite frankly. The dude's won everywhere. His teams are so fundamentally sound. Last year, these two split a pair of games. Upper Arlington won in the regular season, 31-28. Olentangy Liberty won in the postseason, 17-13. So Listen, I know the records are 3-3 versus 6-0, but I have a feeling this is going to be a fun, tight, close game this week.
Hey, but when you look at Liberty's schedule and you see these big dogs,
Glenville,
Lord have mercy, I saw that. I said, "Oh, gee, they ain't just losing these games,
right?"
Right. So, and again, I watched them, and they're very solid, and they know what they want to do. They actually have some guys. So, again, they play some tough schedule. So I have to give them that with those losses. But I'm gonna have to peep that game out and see what's happening.
So I know I said at the beginning we talked about we're not going to talk baseball. Guardians beat the Tigers. They got game 3 tomorrow, 1:00 Eastern time. Reds play tonight against the Dodgers. Try to fend it off. That's really what I want to talk about baseball because there's so much other more fun stuff to talk about. I'm curious. I know LeBron sat out a little bit, nursing. I think it was like an abductor injury or something. I can't even think of it. Anyway, minor injury. How long do you think LeBron can go?
That he is going to go and can go.
Okay.
Well, this is the difference. LeBron is getting expensive, right? He's just expensive. And you have to look at the value of having, how can I say it? Like your two being the most expensive catalyst on your team,
right?
Just kind of like football when we talk about the salary caps and such. LeBron's so expensive that it kind of hinders, and the way he plays, the way that they play him, it kind of hinders, I think, teams building. Because when you work with a LeBron, I think teams look at him as if you have to build around him. Now, to be honest with you, I don't even think that's his flow. I think LeBron, from way back, from when we used to watch him coming to the shot, LeBron wants his homeboys to shine.
Yeah.
That's how he operates. He's that ultimate team player to me, right? But a lot of teams have a hard time building around LeBron. The Lakers are going to have a hard time continuously because of the money thing. Yeah. But I think physically, what's he, 100?
This is 23rd season coming up.
Him and Jesus, like
right.
what he's still like arguably a top 5-7 player in the league. Like, how does anybody dispute that? He's going to play as long as he desires.
I think he plays 25 years, Bakes. What do you think?
I mean, he can if he wants to, right? The problem is for some of these teams is, like Jimmie said, is it cost efficient?
Right.
And I'm not sure LeBron's a guy you build around anymore. And I don't know if LeBron ever wants to be Robin. He probably always wants to be Batman. I don't know if he ever wants to be Robin. And listen, he might be in a situation like that this year with the Lakers, with having Luka there. And, you know,
let me ask you this, why do you guys think that? That he and I hate to use Robin, but why don't you guys think LeBron wouldn't concede to what it takes to win? And if that means that the other guy is the better player,
right?
I think he tried to do that with Anthony Davis, and Anthony wouldn't take it.
I think that LeBron, and I think he wants to be the one who decides what his role is. And he wants to be the one, and I'm not saying he wants to be Rob. I think he wants to be Batman, to put it that way, when it comes to being the face of the team and whatnot. But I don't think he has a problem ceding a little bit to Luka, but he wants to be his decision. Like, the reason I'm Robin, because I want to be Robin, not because the Lakers brass said, "Hey, you're Robin." You know what I mean? I think there's some ego there. He's an alpha dog.
But do you think that? Do you think that that's the case? What do you think?
Can you hear us, Bakes?
Yeah, I think that.
That's that drink of water.
I think it's hard, right?
Being hydrated.
I think it's hard when you've been the man and the best in your sport for so long to concede. And listen, I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he will be that guy that, you know, will let somebody else be the star. Anthony Davis wasn't the right guy for it, just because Anthony Davis was on the court less than LeBron.
Yeah.
Right. You got to have a guy that's going to be in there and playing. So it's hard for Anthony Davis go be the alpha when he's missing over half the games a year. LeBron may do that with Luka. I don't know. And it may work out. It may work out well. It's just like you said, you get to a point where can you pay a guy what LeBron is getting, moving forward? And I don't know. His contract is, he's through this year, right? Maybe he'll take a more team-friendly deal after. I don't know. But it's just hard to pay two alphas like that, right?
Exactly.
It's just
like
difficult.
that.
And I
know
don't know.
what I'm
The
saying?
Lakers have a lot of holes they need to fill.
Right. The Lakers have put themselves in a tough position by making some really bad decisions. And I even think people put that on LeBron's shoulders, right?
Well, sure, LeBron gets labeled that way.
A lot of that is his fault. And again, we even like how we said it in conversation. I'm not saying, Bakes, you said it this way, but it wasn't LeBron's fault that AD can't stay on the floor. But it looks like, you know what I'm saying? But just like you said, it's totally right. Man, but AD can't stay on the floor for LeBron to concede.
Right.
Well, AD, stay your ass on the floor so LeBron can concede. You know what I'm saying? So everything, and there's never been a polar, and you guys know, because y'all may not be older than me. I was going to call some of y'all older.
I'm older than you, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all,
I'm 54.
Oh, yeah, you and Jesus, man. Birkenstocks or Uggs, what did Jesus wear? But that's how old you are. But LeBron doesn't, and I think he's earned, to your point, T, he earned the right to say how what position, and this is the thing, he hasn't done it wrong.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He's the most polarizing dude ever.
Oh, no one's had more of a spotlight on him from a younger age, and not the worst thing he ever did in his career. The worst decision, there's a decision. The worst thing, like, that's the only black eye he's got. And I don't think he was terrible in doing that.
No.
But I'm just saying, but that's like the one thing. There's no off the court drama. There's no there's no drugs. There's no crime. There's no baby mama. None of that. He's married to a high school sweetheart.
Is there a more criticized, not just star, not just popular,
right?
Is there a more criticized baller in any sport than LeBron?
Justin Bieber. Okay, maybe not.
Freaking hysterical. Puff Daddy would bake the
okay, so we got a couple minutes left. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this before we get out of here. Dylan Gabriel named the starting quarterback for the Browns.
Great move.
Shedeur was asked about it. Shedeur he was basically a mime. He was moving his lips but was not saying anything. Like, he literally would not make a sound. Like, he was asked questions and he would just move his lips and would not say anything. That's all he did. And I'm curious.
Are you like?
Yes, there's a video of it. Yeah, you can check out the video. Did you see the video on that, Bakes? Did you see it?
I heard about it. I did not see it.
He's in the locker room, and before I ask a question, he just starts moving his lips without words coming out.
Listen, bro. Shedeur is a smart kid.
Yeah.
That kid is smart, bro. People think he's dumb. They think people just have a problem with people have a problem with Dion. I gotta go watch that.
Yeah.
If he did that, that's almost as ingenious as when Marshawn Lynch said, "I'm only here so I don't get fined."
Yeah, he was smiling while he did it and everything.
Because you know what he's probably tired of? Listen, should I have been drafted?
Right,
one of the top dudes? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm the third on the depth chart.
Yeah.
Y'all asking me what I think about the number 2 guy getting an opportunity to play.
Yeah. Right.
Leave me alone, bro. Leave me. Like, I ain't done nothing. I ain't said nothing. Y'all messing my thing up by trying to get me to say something. What do you want me to say, man? Dylan suck, man. Get this clown out of here because I'm that guy. You're not going to get that from Shedeur. One, he's not that guy. And two, I think he's more savvy than some of these reporters in the media thinks he is.
Bakes, you like the move to Gabriel?
I don't understand why you don't start the season that way.
Yeah.
And listen, I understand every NFL team has to go in with we can do this year mentality, right? But I also think you have to be realistic. And you weren't making the playoffs with this roster and Joe Flacco. So are you helping yourself if you can squeeze blood out of a turnip and get to 7 games rather than winning 4 or 5 with a rookie quarterback? I don't know. And maybe those quarterbacks weren't ready yet, whatnot. Why is Dylan Gabriel more ready now after sitting on the bench for a few games than he was then? And I know there's practice time. I don't know that. I just think this was a situation where Cleveland could have started one of the rookies and been fine. I'm excited to see. Listen, and we had this discussion today, like Do you want Dillon Gabriel? Dillon Gabriel needs to get in there and do everything he can, right, to be the 41st starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns since '99 until next season. I pushed back on that a little bit because he needs to be if he makes it to the end of the season this year as the Browns starting quarterback, they need to know that it's not for just this year, it's for next year and a few years after that. Because if you have questions about him, you've got to see what Shedeur is at the end, because you've got to know with both of these guys if we can build moving forward or we need to use one of these 2 picks and capital to go get a guy. So, listen, I hope it works out for Dillon. There's a lot of things that say no size-wise with him, but there's a lot of good things. He's an accurate quarterback. He can move around. He's won everywhere he's been. He's played a lot of football. And even Shedeur. I think Shedeur on the field, athletically, there are a lot of good things, and he can play the position. I just think there's a lot of things behind the scenes that Shedeur is not maybe picking up well on or whatnot, and there's just something there where it's not clicking for him. That's why he's still the 3rd. But I think when Shedeur's
why do you
on the
think
field,
that Baker? Bro, I got to straighten y'all out.
I think Baker might have some insider knowledge on that.
Because they wouldn't keep him as number 3 on the depth chart, right? They've treated it a certain way all along. So there's got to be something, right? I mean, he's shown when he's on the field, he's got ability and he can play.
Y'all got to stop this, bro. Y'all are too sexy. Y'all are too intelligent to act like y'all don't know what's going on, bro. Stop playing. This is the deal. They made a choice to grab Dillon before Shedeur, right?
Yeah.
Somebody didn't want to take Shedeur.
Sure.
It's very obvious.
Yeah.
And I think it's the coach.
Okay.
Because he hasn't shown to be supportive. He's actually been pretty smug, right? And they're not. He doesn't deserve an opportunity right now because he's the number 3 guy. He's the 5th round pick. His people think he should get an opportunity because he's popular.
Right.
No, you gotta, and I think that's why he's playing it the way he's playing it. All he has to do is let everybody else play.
Sure.
Let everybody else play their way out of it. We want to think because he's so popular,
right,
that it's even and equal. We saw it's not even and equal by how he was drafted, right? So why do we think it's going to be, and I'm just talking, and I don't think it's not fair,
right?
But I am saying we're trying to put reason to unreasonable stuff, and we look crazy asking and answering these questions. The guy is the number 3 guy. It has nothing to do with anything else. Neither one of them got any more or less time than anyone else. He's not going to jump somebody because he's Deion's son. He has to wait, let Dillon play, and if Dillon don't step up, then he gets a chance. It's not that he's not picking up anything. It's not what's the issue with him not jumping the number 2 guy. The number 2 guy, the 2 and 3 guys, they're exactly where they are because of how they were drafted. And that's literally that simple.
The Browns, the only thing they should focus on is making sure they know if they have a franchise quarterback by the time the draft starts next year. And so, and if it's Shedeur, see, I said Deion there. You got me doing that. See, I said it now. You caught me. Okay, if it's Shedeur, great. If it's Dillon's, great. If it's neither one of them, also great. But they've got to know. Like, they've got to find out. They need to see Shedeur quite a bit. They need to see Dillon quite a bit.
Y'all are thinking. Y'all aren't thinking NFL entertainment and exec. Y'all are thinking logical fandom. No one does that.
Well, especially Browns.
Literally, no. Yeah. I'm telling y'all the truth. No one does that. They make really unreasonable choices now.
Right.
And they roll with it now as if they're going to win.
Right.
And then when they make the reasonable choice the next year, you're like, well, why did you make that choice the year before? Well, they had to make what they would consider a reasonable choice the year before because they still got a season to deal with. So no matter what, they're never going to find out what Shedeur, unless Dillon is just bad.
Yeah.
And I don't suspect he's going to be bad. right? He may. So if he's just average,
right,
Shedeur will never get an opportunity to show that he can play. And you can't go into your season
right,
as a professional franchise testing the waters.
right.
It never happens. If they were tanking, Shedeur would be playing.
That's probably fair. Yeah, I think.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
yeah.
if they really was in that tank job, they're not switching up and such and such and such.
Sure.
If we think Shedeur is number 3, hey man, put Shedeur in there and play.
Yeah.
And I guess that's my thing. They should be tanking.
Yeah, they should be tanking.
I don't
They should punt.
This isn't a roster. This isn't a playoff roster.
No,
they should be tanking.
I appreciate your honesty. Now that's honest.
Bakes, where can people find you on Twitter?
Shake and Baker 97.
All right.
97-1.
97-1.
You got to go with the full station there. 97-1.
Can you dance, Bate? You got some rhythm?
We don't want to see that. I'll come up to the studio. We'll have a couple drinks, and then maybe we'll see.
Hey, I'm telling you, we're going to do a TikTok challenge. I already told Tito we're going to figure it out, baby.
I'm sick that day. Bakes, thanks for the time, buddy. We appreciate it. Jimmie, thank you. This has been a lot of fun, guys.
Always.
And I kept Baker. I told him like 20 minutes. I kept him on for damn near an hour.
You hostage, baby.
We did, Baker.
It's all right. Dinner's just burning in the oven. No big
That's
deal.
fine. No worries. Tell her to take it out. All right, guys. We'll talk again soon. Thanks.
Thanks. Appreciate you, baby.
See you.